Hey everybody, this is Edwin the Magic Engineer, and I wanted to finally take you guys through one of my major passions, which is music playing and guitar and things like that. And I don't really want to have like a YouTube channel where I get in front of people and like perform a lot. I'm not really about that. I like to play kind of just like usually by myself, and I've done some performances and stuff, but it's really not so much my thing. I don't really enjoy that. But I do want to share that this is actually a passion, and I want to actually show you guys kind of like my setup and kind of like how I learn, how I practice, and so I think there's like some key learnings, and it's also just fun to communicate with all of you and share what's pretty cool to me. So, let's get to it. Okay, this is my setup, and this is the loop pedal, and this is the foot pedal. And what you do is on the loop pedal, you step on it and it starts recording, and you can see it recording there. Then you play your guitar for a little bit, and then when you're done with that sequence, you step on it again, and it stops recording and starts playing it back. And so this plug here is my guitar that's plugged in, and this one here actually goes to the amp. So everything for your guitar passes through here and goes to the amp. And the foot pedal is used to switch between different sound effects. So if I play my guitar here, I'll turn this up. So there are all these different sound effects, and you can change banks over to another bank. So that's pretty cool how that actually works. And so when you're playing, you can just have access to your feet down on these. And I realized when I started playing guitar, this is part of what separates newbies from people who are really experienced. Because even after I figured out how to actually play a song, I've realized that it's hard to keep part of my brain thinking about stepping on the pedal like I need to, or turning on or off the actual loop station if I'm playing by myself and I don't have anyone to play backup. It's really hard to do, and you kind of have to work that into the song as like a whole like third thing, like because you're already focusing on your strum hand, you're focusing on your finger fretting hand, and now you got to focus on what your feet are going to be doing here. It's actually really hard to figure out how to use these correctly. So another part of this setup is you can see that I've got like a little stand here for my foot, and I can actually adjust the height of that. And that's because as you actually have the guitar sitting like on your leg, it's kind of resting on this thigh. And when you're resting your guitar on this thigh, then you need this foot to be a little bit more elevated to keep the guitar in the right position. So a little foot rest like that actually helps out quite a bit, and then it leaves this other foot free to do like changes and work with your pedal and stuff if you actually want to. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys how this loop pedal actually works. I'm going to hit it and record myself doing the background chorus. And then after I go through a few chords with that, I'm going to stop it, and you'll see on that little dial right here, when it goes in a full circle, that means it's at the beginning of its sequence, and you'll see it kind of count down as it goes to the end. And when I see it about ready to finish, then I'll go to my guitar, and as it's looping and playing that chorus, I'll try to put the solo over the top of it. But it's kind of difficult. It might take me a couple tries, so give me some patience here, guys. We'll see how this works. So let me get ready with the chord, and now it's going to actually play it back, and you'll notice actually I can turn the dial and I can adjust how loud it is, but you generally want it kind of quiet, so when you're playing the highs over the top you can actually hear yourself, but you can't adjust that volume there. Okay, so I'll try to catch this one on the next time around and do the highs over the top of this. Wish me luck! Now almost there, and okay, there we go. So you see how hard that actually was. And I actually have a name for this thing. I call it the "You Suck" pedal, because this thing is perfect timing. It just goes exactly what you're doing. But when you try to like play a chord and then play back to it later, you realize how bad your timing actually is. So it's like, "You suck" is what it basically says. So the last thing I wanted to do is I wanted to just talk a little bit about like getting into guitar, and I've taught a decent amount of people actually how to play guitar and tried to kind of pass along my passion and show them what's so awesome about it. And I've had successes with people that actually really loved it and picked it up, and I've had failures with people that just didn't really pick it up. And I think there's something I always kind of keyed in on something that really got people interested in guitar. Like there was a missing piece that had to be there, and I found what it is it's passion for just playing. There's passion for getting involved in it. It's normally like people don't normally come to guitar and say, well, you know, I really want to study every night and I want to practice, and even when my fingers hurt and I get really bored, that's what I want. I want the boredom and I want the sore fingers. Like, nobody says that. People get into music and they get into guitar and stuff because they love it. They're just excited about it and they're passionate about it. And I think that's what you gotta like grab onto and like really hold on to, and that's what's gonna carry you forward for sticking with the guitar and sticking through the sore fingers and the boring repetition and missing your fretting and getting frustrated with yourself. So here's what I tell people now these days. If you want to learn guitar, what you really got to do is focus on the very thing that brought you into it. Focus on the passion. And what most people are passionate about is, a lot of people, myself included, when you want to play guitar, there might be like a couple of songs that you really want to do. You're very excited about those songs. So pick something that you're excited to play, and it's not too terribly hard, and learn at least some of the main riffs of like that song, like at least a couple of the chords or how to play a couple things. One of the first ones I learned was Smoke on the Water, like this. That was like the first thing that I ever learned to play on guitar, and it took me a while to like figure that out. And then eventually I started getting down chords and things like that, and started getting better at doing like other stuff. And what you do is like you just sit in front of the television and like you watch TV and you kind of strum and you pick at it, and while you're doing it, you're building up that finger dexterity, being able to really spread out to frets, and you're building up your calluses on your fingers just while you're just dinking around with it. And then you keep repeating the thing and the little short riffs that you're working on, and eventually you start to kind of get that finger dexterity down, you start to get those calluses, you start to get those riffs, and then you add in like another riff, and just keep, every time something is exciting to you and you're like, oh, I want to play that, that's what you go for, and you keep working on that. And then eventually you'll feel like you've got this, you're competent enough at these pieces and you're ready for something bigger. And that's when you might like take like a full song that's like maybe chords and that you're excited to play, then you add that one in and get solid at that song. And if you ever have a chance to play that like with friends or for people, then you'll get that adrenaline rush, and that'll really just push you forward. So the big key, the takeaway for learning to play guitar for me and for the people I've successfully taught, it's all about the passion. It's all about the fun of doing guitar. And if you keep that in the focus, then all the mind-numbing, finger pain, grinding, you'll get through it, no problem. So I hope that helps, and I hope some of you were inspired. I hope you guys now get to see one other aspect of my hobbies and my craziness. And if you guys like this, please tell me. Give a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If I get requests to play music, I don't know if that's going to be something I'm into, because it's not really my style. But I'm definitely interested in sharing more tips on like how I play and the tools I use, and I'd love to learn from you guys. Like, YouTube is an amazing resource for learning stuff. So anyways, thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys later. Bye.